Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Craig. I am one of your recovery coaches here at Capital Recovery Center, and this is our family recovery support group. And so today we're going to bring an article today dealing with family. Before I tell you the title of it, I want to let you know where we get this article from. We get this article from verywellmind.com. You can go online and retrieve it. I have someone, young lady, here with us tonight. How are you, Miss Shannon?
Well, hi, I'm well. I think I'm finally on.
Yeah, glad you could join us.
Me
Yes.
too, finally.
Yeah, so we have someone in our building, our recovery center. You can't see her, but you will hear her voice if she want to introduce her name, first name only.
Hi, Shannon. I'm Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Mhm.
All right, and so let's get right into it. And thank you for joining us tonight. So today's topic, we're going to talk about how to be supportive after a death from drugs. All right, and so I didn't want to have a family recovery support group and not include those who are maybe still grieving or those who have lost their loved ones. And it also helped me to get some insight of what people may be going through or how to approach them and be more sensitive to their grieving process. And so I'll read some, and I I'll ask the young lady who say your name again,
Sherry.
Miss Miss Sherry. I asked Miss Sherry if she want to read some. So let's get right into it. All right.
All right.
All right. So the article starts off by saying, after death from drugs, it is normal for persons, relatives, and loved ones to grieve. However, supporting people who are going through drug-related bereavement can be complicated. While there may be beautiful memories of positive experiences with the loved ones who has died, there may also be negative experiences. For instance, they may have experienced distress seeing the loved ones intoxicated or violent, have legal or financial problems that affect the family, as well as a possible history of physical, emotional, or sexual abuse or other difficulties. The loss of a friend or family member from drugs can be particularly painful if the person was young and otherwise healthy. Despite the negative emotion death can bring up, you can still find a way to be supportive of someone who has lost a loved one to drug addiction. You may find inspiration from the list of suggestions below. All right. And so the first one we want a topic of discussion is to be present. Can you see the information going across the screen, Miss Shannon?
How to be supportive after a death from drugs, family recovery support group. Yeah, I can
Okay,
see that.
wonderful. Okay, can you see the word be present?
Oh, yeah, that's directly underneath you. Yes.
Okay, that's one of the topics. I'll read that one, and Miss Sherry asked if she want to read the next one. Okay.
Okay.
It says, be present. When trying to support someone who has just lost a relative or loved one to death from drugs, people often wonder how to give this type of support. You can do this by being physically present and helping them feel less isolated. Ways to do this include, so they're going to give us 4 different bullets of ways to be present. The first one talks about be available for phone calls, right? The next one, go for a visit and spend time with them. Third, respond promptly to email messages. And 4, send a card, letter, or flowers. All right. And so these are 4 ways that we can be present when someone who are grieving a loss of a loved one. The next one we want to discuss is Sherry.
Listen,
Okay.
worry less about saying the right thing and more about allowing the person to speak about their experience if they choose. Be patient and give them the option to talk about whatever is on their mind, as listening with respect can open the door to better communication with the person who is bereaved.
Mhm.
Listening involves giving the person your full attention while allowing them the space to speak without interruption.
Right. That's in this field. That is something they call active listening. Right. So you're aware of that, right?
Yes,
Active listening. A lot of times it's often said that before a person can finish their sentence, we already got the answer. So that's not giving a person your undivided attention, right? And so the next one we want to discuss, and that is accept their feelings. All right. So
I'm going to read it.
you want to read it?
Sure. A loved one bereaved by death from drugs is likely to have more complex and contradictory feelings than other bereaved people. Here's an overview of things they might feel. Liberation or relief that the addict will no longer overshadow their life with unpredictable and addiction. Extreme sadness about what might have been if the deceased had achieved can't even talk today.
That's okay.
Serenity. Guilt about the times they wished it could all be over. Responsibility for bringing about the death of their loved one. None of these feelings are wrong, and your acceptance of them will help your friend to process them. They have to be allowed to express their feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so accepting one's feelings, that is very important. I know this is not dealing with a death-related issue, but me and my wife was going through marriage counseling, biblical marriage counseling. And one of the things was we was basically pointing the finger at one another. Oh, she did this. Oh, he did that. And my thing was, I said during the discussion, oh, she always bringing it up for something I did in the past. And I had to learn that from the biblical counsel that we have to allow people to heal in their own timing, not when I want it. Once you get over it, no, that's, even with this, people have ways to deal or cope with the love of a lost one, or they should have the liberty, as this say, liberation or relief, to be able to express themselves.
There's no time frame for grief, especially when you lose a loved one, like I lost my son.
Mm-hmm.
Individuals think it's a process that you heal right away.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of guilt that goes along with it. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of financial. What more could I have done?
Yeah.
There's a lot that affects you when you have a loved one that passes.
Yeah.
With addiction.
Mm-hmm. And so
everyone grieves in their own way, in their own time, and they need to be allowed to do so.
yeah. I hate Miss Shannon.
I said it's not a simple process. It's not one size fits all. Everybody needs to be able to do it their own way, and they need the support behind them.
Yes.
Absolutely, I totally agree, because a lot of times we think that we have the magic word to make a person get over their loss, and I don't think there is a magic word.
No, there's no magic word.
Yeah. And so I know I had two brothers that passed from one from alcohol. He drank alcohol so much where he had alcohol poisoning, and so the doctor told him that if he continued to drink, he would die. And then, unfortunately, he did. And then one of my brothers, he used to use drugs so much where he developed AIDS, and he passed away. So,
My son, when I did get the autopsy back,
mhm.
he was completely healthy otherwise than,
Wow.
except for the overdose.
Just for those, yeah. And so there's a lot that comes with addiction. A lot of people think that they can just go about their life and that the disease part, because there is the mental disease, or then there's the physical disease that one can contract from using drugs. And so this thing is real serious. So let's move on. Do you have anything else you want to say, Miss Shannon?
No, I'm good. I'm just listening.
All right. All right. So the next topic of discussion, express sympathy. This is major, I believe. Saying I'm sorry you're going through this may be more supportive than comments like, I understand how you feel. And so
My normal phrase that I use, because somebody said it to me once and it stuck. My heart breaks with yours.
I like that.
Yeah. Because there's a different, from sympathy and empathy.
Right.
If you never experienced something of a loss of a loved one, you don't really understand.
The one thing that the one that said, I understand how you feel. I don't think, one thing that I always said is you would never want to be in my shoes and lose a child from any type of addiction. And until you walk in that person's shoes, you don't understand it.
Right.
And you will, saying that to an individual or saying, oh, you have other children, they're completely the wrong things to say.
Wrong thing to say.
That just gets you so upset and it sends triggers.
Yep. You're absolutely right. And so I learned the difference from sympathizing and having sympathy and empathy. So there's got to be a distinction, and you have to understand the two. Right? It says even if you have lost someone to death from drugs, the experience and relationships are likely to have been different. So expressing understanding that you don't have may be alienating to the bereaved person. It's okay to express genuine empathy, there we go, around universal human emotions that may be a part of grief, such as anger, sadness, disappointment, and regret. What to say to someone who lost a loved one, okay? And so I think this is helping me a lot as well, because now I'm getting an understanding how to approach people, how to assist people, because this is a family recovery support group, and so we have to look at it from the total perspective, not only from a child, but from a parent, from a nephew, from a grandparent, the whole perspective. Next, we want to talk about, and that is
Staying neutral.
stay neutral. You would like to read a little bit more?
Sure. Stay and be tricky, especially if you have negative experiences with or opinions about the deceased, but is more supportive to express no judgment than to express negative feelings about the person who has died, even if the bereavement does so. If the bereaved talked about how cruel and abusive the addictive person was, express concern for them, for example, by saying, they must have been so hard for you, rather than saying, I don't know why you put up with that idiot. Neutral comments allow the bereaved to come to terms with their own feelings and accept their own reasons for the way they handled the relationship, whether or not you feel they were correct.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
I mean, everybody makes mistakes.
Absolutely.
Everybody has skeletons in their closet.
That's right.
And when you're going through that grief, you don't want to hear the negative things. You already know the negative things.
Oh, no.
You want to hear positive.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know, my son did wonderful things.
That's right. That's right.
Point those out.
Yeah, because, that's what we call positive reinforcement. We want to dispel the negative and replace them with some positive things that can encourage someone and uplift someone during the time of grieving. We don't want to use such words as, just those. There's certain things to say. I was told, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
You also have to take into consideration that anger is one of the stages of grief, but being supportive doesn't mean you support the anger. You can't, if somebody's mad at their deceased loved one at the time, you can't be like, I'd be mad too, or you can't support that.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to.
You bring up a good point. Yeah, because you don't want to fuel the fire.
Exactly.
You don't want to fuel the fire.
They're already feeling bad enough.
Yeah. Come on. Let's have some compassion. All right, the next one we want to talk about, we're almost done, and that is encourage and support self-care. All right, and it says grief and depression can sometimes get in the way of people taking proper care of themselves. Regular sleep, meals, and exercise may fall by the wayside. The bereaved may stop practicing good personal hygiene and fail to keep their home clean and tidy. Be encouraging and helpful in a kind, uncritical way. So, because a lot of times depression may set in. And if you notice that, if you go visit someone and they just lost a loved one, and you see that they may not be in the best of mood, you might just want to pitch in. Nobody have to tell us, jump in and wash the dishes, or you want to see somebody, you want to be there for them, and especially during a time like that, because that goes a long way. It goes a long way without even saying anything or wanting anything in return. Just being, helpful and kind. I think that goes a long way in life.
I know I isolated myself. I didn't want to have to talk to anyone. I just wanted to sit in a quiet place and just cry and try to deal with everything that took place until I was ready to talk.
Yep, absolutely. And we need family members, especially during a time like grieving process. We need positive family member who's going to be there and just love on us, unconditionally, So, yeah.
I actually found you don't even have to talk. You don't have to do anything. Just the fact that you're there. You can sit on the couch, and they can sit on the chair, and just the fact that you're there sometimes is all they need.
It goes a long way. Yeah.
Because just in case they want to say something at one moment.
Yeah.
And you're there. Somebody's there.
You can feel the warmth.
Somebody is there. If you need me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, all right. So, let's move on. Let's go to the next one. And the next one we're going to talk about is help with practicalities. That's a good one.
I'm not going to go.
So, there are daily tasks a grieving person may neglect because they feel depressed or can't find the energy. You can be supported by babysitting, preparing a meal, helping with household chores. There may be additional practicalities to take care of that can seem overwhelming to the bereaved, such as informing friends and family of the death, making arrangements for the funeral, dealing with doctors, lawyers, and inheritance issues, dealing with unresolved legal issues arising from the addiction, such as death, and or issues around the death from drug itself. All right, helping with these is another way to offer support, and so I believe we made mention of the importance of that perspective.
You know, one of the things that after my son had passed away, I had lost 5 other individuals within a year, and dealing with all that,
Yeah,
you know, preparing for my son's funeral, getting all that taken care of. Then, you know, my brother-in-law passed, my father passed, taking care of my mother, my girlfriend passed Christmas Day, and then my mother. So we had all that to take care of in less than a year.
oh my God.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, that's
And trying to keep your cool and not to spat out different things and work with siblings and
yeah, I think that is a crucial time right there where support is definitely needed.
Mhm.
You know, from all aspects. You know, we especially here we express the importance of professional help because you know we may have our way of trying to assist, but then there's professional people who can really get down and help us to the core,
Mhm.
you know. And so I always suggest, even if you're going through an addiction or you're in recovery or whatever the case may be, whether it be some cognitive issues or whether you're just trying to reestablish yourself, I believe professional help is always a good way to go.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Because you know, you can talk to someone, a family member or whatever, and they can be judgmental. You know, not even thinking that they are, but the professional helps you bring that stuff out that you're holding in, that you don't want to hurt the individual or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, the professional also doesn't lead you down a certain path, whereas friends and family might. They allow you to do your own introspection and come to your own conclusions
Yes.
and your own information.
Yeah. And a lot of times, if the professional is trained right and who experienced, they get down to the core issue that we need to address. So, yeah, so that's true. Nice, good stuff. I appreciate y'all for sharing. Next one, we're going to talk about know when to take a break. You want to read it?
Sure. It can be hard offering support to someone who has lost an addicted loved one. Emotions can run high and it can be quite draining trying to help. If you feel overwhelmed, back off and take a break. Don't allow resentment to mount, then vent to someone else about the bereaved person. If they find out, this may be more hurtful to the bereaved than if you hadn't tried to support them in the first place.
Yes. So we have to know when to pause and step back, give people space. You know, the whole idea of sharing this information is helping us as a group, but is also maybe helping someone who may be watching this at a later date, or they can be watching now. And they may be going through some things, and just hearing the conversation may be very helpful. And so that's our goal, to help each other in this process. All right, so let's move on. I believe we're near to the end. Accompanying the person. There may be events following the death of someone with an addiction that will be very difficult for the bereaved person. To be supportive, you can offer to accompany them to make statements to the police or to reporters, talk to doctors, funeral directors, and lawyers, attend a court proceeding. At the same time, it's important to respect the bereaved person's wishes if they want to do these things alone. Wow.
That is so true. When I had to go to the funeral home, I took my father with me. Just so happened he knew the individual.
Mhm.
And he helped me through it, but he allowed me to talk and to say what I wanted to say. He was very, supportive in
Mhm.
that way, where others just wanted to go to find out information,
Ah,
and
yeah.
they said, one individual says, well, you didn't even cry during that whole thing. I said, you don't understand. I said, I have to be strong for my parents at this time.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
lost their grandchild. Yes, I lost my son, but I've always been stronger and
Mhm.
always have been there to support them.
Yeah,
I can let my tears and stuff go after all this.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And sometimes it's your own self-preservation that your body won't let you grieve until you're ready to grieve. Yeah, your mind will keep you strong and allow you slowly, it's like a shock.
I like to
Yeah.
grieve in private on certain
That's
things.
right. That's right. Mhm.
My main concern was my parents not having a heart attack or something, when all this was going on.
Yeah, yeah. Because grandparents, one thing I learned about grandparents, they'll overspoil you, overprotect you. They love you they love you so much, you're like, wow.
Mhm.
So you make a valid point, be strong for them because they definitely probably was feeling it.
It makes a difference too with myself. With my son, I found him and I didn't get to hold his hand or nothing.
Mhm.
With my parents, I was there holding my father's hand and told him everything would be okay. I would watch after my mom.
Hmm.
So then my mom, a year later, we brought her home to die at home.
Mhm.
And I told her, I said, Mom, I said, don't worry, I've got everything taken care of. I said, I'll watch after my sisters. And I'm the youngest one.
Mhm.
Watching after she took her last breath. My sisters didn't even realize that she had passed away.
Oh, wow. Wow.
She just needed to hear.
Yeah, everything's gonna be all right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Hardest thing, but
yeah,
somebody had to do it.
absolutely. And that's a lot of times I'm not sure, but like my mom, she's up in age now, so a lot of times she's worried or she's concerned, like, will I be okay?
Mhm.
I have to like reassure, like,
Yep. And that was the first thing my father said. He goes, Sherry, he says, if anything happens to me, please take care of your mom.
Well, you kept your word.
Yes, I did. I did.
That's great. That's great. Last and not least, we're going to cover, and that is recognize grief is a process. Grief is a complex process involving several stages and a range of different, often contradictory emotions. People vary greatly in how long it takes them to recover after losing someone to drugs. Allow the bereaved to go through this process in their own way and in their own time, while having faith that eventually they will find peace. All right? How to support someone who lost a loved one to drugs. All right, ladies, that been, I'm glad for the information. I'm glad you was able to share.
Yes.
I believe that by sharing it's therapeutic because a lot of times even in this stage, we're able to get some things out. I come from a therapeutic recovery, and one of the things they tell us in order to keep our sobriety is to share it freely and give it away freely. So let's keep us reminded of the importance of why we stay healthy by sharing our information in the hopes of helping someone else. All right, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon, for sharing.
Thank you,
Well,
Stan.
thank you, Sherry. Your stories were bigger than mine. But, I finally made it, Craig, so I'm going to keep trying.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, you two. Thank you.
All right, you too. Thank you.